All right. So primal, pretty heavy duty, hard wearing materials. The Earth Runners are definitely a very unique looking pair of sandals for running, hiking, but are they worth it? And can this very minimal lacing system really be that good for all these activities? Stick around and find out. Hello, my name is Nick. I am into barefoot running, sandal running, Huarache style running, minimal running, and I'm trying to make these videos to help people make a better decision for themselves on buying some running sandals or hiking sandals. So with that, let's get into it. These are the Earth Runners Circadian with the adventure style laces. These are pretty heavy duty pair of sandals despite how minimal they look, and are a lot of fun to wear and take out on the trails and hikes. So just a little bit about the specs. We have a Vibram gum light outsole that is definitely very grippy and unique, providing a lot of good ground feel. The top, we have a canvas footbed where your foot's going to rest on that, providing some good grip. We have their lacing system. These are the adventure laces. So these laces are a little bit stiffer than the other version just to lock your foot down there. My size 10 come in at 10.3 ounces or 383 grams. So let's get into the components a little more in depth here, starting with the outsole. So this is the Vibram Gumlight outsole with this kind of nubby pattern here. I was really interested to try this and see how it worked. It's very different than any sandal or shoe that I've tried before, and I am happy to report that it feels really good, especially on natural surfaces. So your grass, mulch, dirt, that kind of thing. If you're walking over a rocky area, it feels really good. With all those nubs in between, just come a lot of areas for the sandal to flex, and it feels very natural. The 9 millimeter thickness here total is also a real nice thickness. So some of my runs, I go through a pretty rocky area that's on sides of roads, and wearing these, I feel like I get a lot of ground feel, but I can maintain my speed, which is really nice because they're by the road, and I don't want to be by the road that often or for that long. So definitely work really well. The nub pattern, so most of my running is on pavement, and this nub pattern is honestly not one of my favorites for pavement. It feels, it just makes the pavement feel harder than it is for some reason. And you might be saying, well, duh, you're on pavement. But I feel like with this nub pattern, it feels like you're just sitting on top of it, and it feels extra firm compared to like a Shama sandal. Not that I can feel the nubs, but you just feel like you're hovering. A good analogy would be if you've worn like trail running shoes or something like that on pavement, and you can almost tell that you're not touching the ground, you're just on the lugs of the shoe. It kind of gives that kind of a feel to me. Moving on, we have the canvas footbed. So this canvas footbed is dyed. They use like a small batch dye, and I think it looks really great. Honestly, it's pretty dirty right now from my last muddy run, but it's held up really well. The canvas definitely feels very durable. Um, Now, I don't know if it's my favorite material, even though I like the way it looks a lot. But during some of the runs I had that were wet, rainy, muddy, this canvas, it almost felt like it got a little bit waterlogged. So there's a point where it feels like the canvas just absorbs a bunch of water, and then you're running on this cold sheet of canvas compared to like the Zero shoes I have, or the Shamas with the Ultra Grip, or the rubber compound that's that footbed. Those feel like it pushes the water out. Yes, your feet are going to be cold, but this feels like there's a thin sheet of coldness underneath you when it's like that. Something else I noticed too with this canvas. So one of the last runs I had was in a very rainy, muddy area, and it felt like in between that weave of the canvas, that the mud would get in there with like a step, and then I would step on the mud, and then it would just get pushed and lodged in between the weave of the canvas, which isn't a big deal, but over time, that mud kind of compounds, and it almost felt like under the heel and the ball of my foot, I had a lot of mud, and it just became slick. Um, and when you're going downhill or uphill in sandals, that's definitely an issue. So trying to maintain as much traction as you can and not get blistered or run into that front toe post. So definitely something to keep in mind. So during dry conditions, if you're just sweating, so far that hasn't been an issue, but on really muddy conditions where there's a lot of mud getting pushed on here, that didn't wasn't my favorite. I just felt like I was slipping quite a bit. Oh, also I'll say definitely take some time to break in this canvas footbed. Initially out of the box, it feels pretty slick, at least it did to me. Now that it's worn in, it definitely feels better, but it still doesn't feel super grippy compared to some of the other sandals I've had. Moving on, we have the lacing system. So this is the adventure lacing system. So it's tougher than the other one. I'm pretty sure that's called the lifestyle lacing. And this works surprisingly well. Looking at the Earth Runners, I didn't think it would hold up. I didn't think I'd be able to move super fast, but I am happy to report that it works really well. Uh, Another note, so we have a nylon here. There's two layers. So that on this is the brown. We have one layer on the outside that's very durable, and then there's another layer, that black strap. It's actually a separate piece of nylon. It's laced through the top. It's all one piece, and then it goes through the bottom. This is a wear point, but um, there's some cutouts in the outsole so that it's not too bad. If you're running and you're mainly on the ball of your foot, it's not going to be an issue, but just something to keep in mind. You might have to replace the laces after a while, depending on your stride or what kind of ground you're using these on. So, a little backstory on these is when I first found out about running in sandals, read the book Born to Run, and started looking into it. Earth Runners were one of the sandals that popped up first, and I really wanted to get these, but I kept seeing videos and comments from people saying that they would wear out, lots of hot spots. They would get blisters with these. The laces were not comfortable. If they don't fit your foot, they're never going to work, and just not people's favorite. And that scared me off and led me to other brands. Now that I've tried these, um, I can report that these laces are definitely as tough as people were saying. Um, and for that reason, when I first got these, they were a gift. Thank you very much. Um, I wore these inside just walking around for about 3 months and trying to squish this front the toe post right here and just squish it and try and make it looser, a little broken down, softer, so that when I did finally take these out on a run, hopefully I wouldn't get any hot spots or blisters. On the dry days, they worked great. No issues with hot spots. Even these areas, instep and outstep post or the loops here, not no issues on that area of my foot. However, on my wet, muddy run that I went to, and I started slipping a lot with your feet being wet and slipping and ramming into this front toe post, there's just not a lot holding your foot there. Um, I ended up wearing out and getting a nasty blister right in between my toes. Super uncomfortable. And now I'm running in shoes actually because of that. So that was really unfortunate. So if you are going to get these and you have a lot of wet, nasty, slippery conditions, these might not be the best option, or maybe try the other laces. Just something to keep in mind. Moving on, just the extra bits. We have a little plastic buckle that they use some recycled material on, which is really cool. On their website, it looks like they have some different colors. This doesn't seem like a big point of stress on the lacing system, and I'm not worried about this breaking. I mean, if you ran your foot into a rock or something, maybe. But besides that, I don't see any issues with that. It's very simple. It's held really well. I don't get any slipping, which is great. The other thing about these sandals, if you've been looking into them, you'll probably know about the grounding. And to be honest, I don't know anything about grounding. Didn't really look into it. It wasn't a big factor for me. But the idea is your body builds up a charge. We have stainless steel threading in the lacing system, and we have a copper toe plug here. This copper toe plug basically looks like a button that's on there. But as you build up a charge, you can run on natural surfaces, and that charge can dissipate and go into the earth. I don't know much about it or if it actually does anything. What I can tell you is wearing these compared to other sandals, they just feel good on my feet, and my feet feel less fatigued. Now, is that because of the lacing system? Is it because of the materials or the outsole? I don't really know. Is it because of the grounding? Not sure, but they feel good. So that's pretty much everything about the Earth Runners here. And I'm just going to go into pros, cons, and who are these for, and would I recommend them. So pros, I think they look great. So these are going to look good on a trail and running, hiking, as well as, with some jeans at the beach. If I had to choose between flip-flops and these, I'm going to pick these because they look cool and they're more functional. The lacing system is actually really nice. It's very simple and it holds up for probably 99% of what you're going to do with these. Workouts, runs, just walking, they're going to be great. Cons is going to be the materials. So being so minimal, and these materials are very tough, they're very sturdy, which is great, but they will chew up your feet. So just keep that in mind. There's going to be a long break-in period. I'm probably going on like 4 or 5 months now of walking, running in these, and I still feel like I'm breaking them in. If you're someone that needs a sandal because you're going to do a trek through the US or go to Europe and you're only going to have one pair of sandal, that kind of thing, these could be an option, but just make sure you get them early enough, because if they don't work for you, you are going to be in trouble for sure. And would I recommend them? Absolutely. So even though these are the only sandals I've tried that have really chewed up my feet and I've got some bad blisters, I just find myself drawn to them. I think they look great. They're very functional, even though they're on the heavier side compared to some of the other materials. They seem like they're very durable, and I love that. So as soon as my feet heal up, I'll definitely be running in these again, but maybe not on rainy, muddy days. All right. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you found this video helpful about the Earth Runners Circadian. With that being said, let me know, have you tried Earth Runners, the canvas versus just their non-canvas footbed, or the different style laces? I'm curious. Or have you tried these Earth Runners versus another one? Let me know down below. I'm curious to see if there's other people out there that had their feet chewed up because of these. And just so you know, my plan is to do reviews of the Shama Warrior Maximus as well as the power straps offered by Shama. And then my goal now is going to be to do comparison videos. So, these Earth Runners versus the Maximus, something that's a similar to 9mm stack height sandals, just for a better comparison. So if someone's trying to decide between both, they know what to do and what might work for them. So with that being said, please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you're well, and happy trails.